What's up, everyone? Welcome to a very special episode of Game Talk. I have extra people with me here today, a couple which you've never seen, at least not on video calls. We are doing a Game of the Year chat. It's going to be personal Game of the Year, so it doesn't have to be everything that came out last year. I guess we'll go in the order of the Discord call, clockwise. So we'll start with my left to Dylan. Introduce yourself.
Name's Dylan. I'm just here to talk about video games for the year.
There we go.
That's what's up.
And then above him, Chris.
Oh.
It might look
Hi,
different to
Chris.
everyone else, I forgot.
Yeah.
Chris has done the show with me a couple times, at least once.
Once.
Once?
Yep,
Okay. And then we have, how do we want to distinguish the Ryans? We have Teal Ryan in the center, in the teal hoodie. Anything you need to say, Ryan? Everybody knows
Hi.
you.
You know, everybody knows me. We're back. Happy New Year.
And then we have other Ryan. I don't want to say Black Ryan. That feels wrong. Grayscale Ryan.
Yeah, we could do that.
All right.
I'm Ryan.
Grayscale, it kind of sounds like a D&D name or something.
That's true, yeah. Ryan Grayscale. It's like a royal name.
Also known
I like
as Ryan the Gray.
There we go. There we go. So I asked everybody to choose their top 3 games, their personal games of the year, so whether it came out last year or not. So I'm sure we'll have some that did come out last year and some that didn't. Dylan had the idea of just going around doing everyone's number 3, chatting, doing everyone's number 2, chatting, and then doing everyone's number 1, and I like that. So who wants to start? Anyone? Should I start?
Yeah, go for
Kick
it.
us off.
Do it up.
I didn't actually rank them, so I need to do that real quick. Yeah, okay. So my number 3 would be Diablo 2 Remastered. I think I'm the only one here that played that, right?
I think so.
Played it technically.
Oh yeah, I forgot you played it a little bit, Dylan. That's right. I was saving you barbarian stuff, and then you never came out mine. It's basically Diablo 2, just looks prettier. They remade it like 100%, mostly 100% accurate. There's like a couple things they tweaked UI-wise, and like you can pick up gold automatically. But as a game that I played for hundreds of hours when I was in middle school, to then just play again, and it looks how I remember it looking. It's one of those things where they just made it look really nice, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember playing this game. But when you actually look at the old graphics, it looks like garbage. So the new one looks really good, and I've put more hours into it than I probably should have, because I should have been playing newer stuff. But yeah, so that's been really fun if you like action RPGs. Anyone else have anything to say about Diablo?
I mean, I played it for a while. It definitely, I think, helps to have the background of loving that game.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's
love
not new
games.
player friendly.
It isn't, and if you started with like 3, like I did, you can't
Same.
appreciate
Yeah.
the differences as much.
The
I think.
hard edges of difficulty that Diablo 2 has.
It is that. It's the inventory. It kind of.
Oh god, the inventory's bad.
I will say, I do like that they kept it true to its original source. They don't do that many They don't really do quality of life changes because they didn't exist at the time. And
Right.
so things like managing the inventory, it becomes a skill. I've seen like
Yeah, especially on console, because it's the first time the game's ever been on a console before. So managing that shitty grid inventory with a controller is... I've gotten good at it, obviously, but it's still not ideal compared to Diablo 3 on console.
yeah.
I think they had to go this route as, like, hardly accurate remake, because didn't you say the Warcraft 3 remake was trash by Blizzard?
Yeah, they've I think they've struggled. At least the remake before that. I can't remember which Warcraft one it was, but that one was universally panned. And I'm assuming it's in the same boat. Game was a classic when it came out. People loved playing it, and then it aimed at getting that audience again. And
Yeah.
I don't know specifically everything that was wrong with it. I just know it was panned. So I'm sure they
Yeah.
put extra effort in making sure that Diablo 2 was
Mhm. It also didn't Warcraft replace the old one, and you can't play the old one, where they didn't do that with this one?
That I don't remember. I wouldn't be surprised. That
Yeah.
seems like something they could have done. I
Yeah.
will say, with Diablo, I have a special appreciation for games that allow you to instant switch graphics, so you can go
Yes.
back to the old style.
It's
I found
fun.
myself playing with the old graphics a lot.
Yeah.
Just because it was kind of neat to see how something looks like that. There's
Any-
a couple games that do it, like Grim Fandango.
Doesn't Halo do it as well, like the Master Chief Collection?
Halo has it. I remember Grim Fandango was good too, because that one would it's the switch from its like nicely drawn art style to the
Okay.
wonky polygons they used.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate that too, for sure. Yeah, so I guess we'll just keep going in a circle, which my circle's different. So we'll go with Dylan. What was your number 3?
Sweet. My number 3 was Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
All
I
right.
had a battle between that and Hell Let Loose. Hell Let Loose
Okay.
is a newer one this year. But Mass Effect, I definitely had a more a better time with it, because I was weighing whether or not I could put a game that was a
I mean, I did Diablo 2.
I knew you were gonna have Diablo ones in exchange. Quick shout out for Hell Let Loose. It is really good.
That's the shooter, right? That's realistic.
I think Chris has been playing that recently.
It's a very
What?
realistic. Oh, good.
The Hell Let Loose, is that the one you were just playing the other night? That war, it's like realistic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the very few milsims that are, I guess I would put it in almost a milsim game. It's a military simulation game. That is a World War II based one. It came out in October on Xbox. But It's
Okay.
been out on PC for a while.
It was a
and,
PlayStation Plus game at some point too, so
It
I
was.
own it, but
Yeah.
I've never played it.
It is not a casual game, but it isn't. It requires people to chat on like. So I found it to
Okay.
be, you get. It's such a. It can become like an insular community, which is actually good because a lot of those people want you to get into the game. So a lot of people are full.
Is that the one that you had trouble being able to chat with random people the first time, or was that a different Milsim?
No, that would have been Postscript. Another military sim.
Okay.
Anyway, that's not actually my third game. That one's a special show because that game came out right when Battlefield was bad and Call of Duty was great, and so that game actually pulled a lot of people off of it. A lot of people I talked to on there came off.
Interesting. Nice. Is there crossplay in that? Like, if I played that on PlayStation, would we be able to play?
Yeah. And
Okay.
it's in microphone and stuff. It's very good. It can be frustrating because it is one shot and kill most of the time.
Yeah.
So you have to play it kind of strategically, but it can be fun. Anyway, Mass Effect.
Alright.
That's what I want to talk about. Mass Effect Legendary.
Oh yeah.
That game such a good job at. It just really is like an up-res and some quality of life changes with certain things like the Mako on the first Mass Effect.
Yeah.
But it keeps them pretty original. I love Mass Effect as a series, so playing through it was really easy for me to just pound constantly. I didn't stop. I would put like 100.
Yeah, you played all of them in like a couple weeks, whereas I played the first one and I still haven't went and played the second one yet. Or the third.
I think what drove me is I know the second one's better, like significantly better. In my opinion,
It is. I played the intro and I was like, damn, this just is smoother already. Like a
it's
lot.
the controls for that. But every game is different, and every game is better. I don't remember 3 always as much every time I played, even though that's the last one I technically played. But 1 does such a good job with the environment and the storytelling.
I love the backstory of the aliens and just the timeline of what happens. Like, that's when I get sold in that series, is once you learn more about that.
Yeah, and they do a really good job at building that. And on top of that, like, the atmosphere for that game, I think is better than the rest of them. I think, one, when you go to these random planets, the ground, I always found it interesting. The ground is rocky and terrible looking, and not fun.
The textures, yeah.
It's still not good. But they kept it kind of like how the original game was with that. But when you look into the sky, it's all these, like, depending on the planet, it's multiple stars or something going on in the atmosphere, and it is just it puts you in that spot. And for the entire series, I mean, Shepard's like an iconic character.
Yeah.
They do a great job.
The companions are iconic too at this point.
They are, yeah. And they do a great job of kind of keeping Shepard as like as somewhat of a silent protagonist in a way where they tend to he can be a little on the quiet side as opposed to constantly talking and making himself a character that you don't become one with, I guess. But that game does a great job at allowing you to just play through entire trilogy, carry everything over, make all these decisions.
I'm
Good
excited
job.
that I still haven't touched like any of the DLC because I know you said there's a lot of really good stories in that, and I haven't played any of that yet. Because when they
Yeah.
first came out, I just played like the PS3 trilogy, and just played the main games. That's also why I paused, because I played them back to back to back the first time I did it, and I'm like, I kind of want time between so I can actually remember which one's which. Besides 1 and 2, there's obviously a huge difference, but
Yeah, two definitely is the biggest upgrade in that sense, but a lot of their DLC is great and stuff. So, the only thing I would say that can be a negative about that game is if you want the premium experience in terms of like sound bites and discussions and stuff like that, there is a recommended mission guide list where it would like you can go on. I think it's like IGN or
like an order to go through, or
yeah, where like.
Mm,
Not to spoil 2, but there's a certain thing that can happen later in 2, or potentially it might be 3, but I think it's later in 2, where depending on the list, you'd want to get some stuff done before you do this mission, because then you
Okay.
get the best ending for this thing. And that was something where I didn't mind having a list pulled up for it, because the missions are long enough that it's not like I'm constantly like
yeah, you're not every 5 minutes looking at this list.
But yeah, that could be a negative thing of it. But
I'll have to do that when I play 2 again.
Yeah, and it's on Game Pass for Xbox if anyone has Xbox and Game Pass.
Oh yeah, I forgot they just put that on there.
So yeah, you can get through everything. It's easy platinum too. Like you just play on normal through the whole thing.
Okay.
So, yeah, you can platinum 3 games, and then I think that just platinums 3 games. Well, you don't
Nice.
platinum the main trilogy.
Yeah, but each individual one is a
Yeah.
platinum. Nice. I should go back and play 2.
Did anyone else? I know a couple other people who like played it, but I don't know if anyone besides Brandon passed the first game or did anything into it.
No, I think I played the first one for a couple hours, and then I jumped to the second one for a while, and haven't gotten back since.
Okay, it didn't hook you?
No, not the way I wanted it to.
Alright.
There's still hope, but
Yeah.
I haven't played since the original release of 1 and 2. And
On
I never made
360.
it. Never made it to 3.
Did you play through all of 1 and 2?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know
And I
that.
think that was on PS3.
Could
I
be.
remember.
It took a while for 1 to get to PS3.
They
Yeah.
ended up releasing them all on.
Yeah. Yeah, it took a while. All right, Chris, what's your number 3 on your games list?
I'm in between for 2 of them. So I think I'll choose Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay. All right. I'm playing through that right now. I just freed Drax's mind. That's where I'm at.
Okay.
um, yeah.
The only thing I did not like about it is that after you're done playing the game and you want to go back and get more stuff, like
Yeah.
get all the
Like the costumes and shit.
outfits and stuff like that, you actually have to replay the whole thing over.
That's annoying.
The
You can't
whole
do.
chapter.
Oh, you can't just do segments.
Nope.
That
You have to play
sucks.
the whole chapter over.
mm,
Some
That's the
chapters
only
are
thing that
short,
I have
but
issues
some are
with.
long as fuck.
Yep.
That's not too bad, but overall, like the main story and game you liked a lot if it's on your top 3.
Yes. The story of it was really, really good.
I like it a
I
lot
highly
so far.
recommend it.
Yeah. I think I'm
Like-
getting closer to the end, possibly. I don't actually know, but feels like it.
it's kind of cool being able to just sit there and watch it. So like, I didn't play it, and I don't feel like I necessarily have to.
I don't.
because saw
It
the
is
whole thing.
very
You know?
cinematic because that's one of
Yeah.
the things. Like there is gameplay and shooting to it, but sometimes you go and don't. You're just cutscenes and walking for like a half hour. But the story's so
Yeah.
good and the characters are good, and every once in a while you do conversation choices, and that's good. Where I don't
It's
feel
nice
like,
to-
oh yeah, I forgot that I fight stuff sometimes.
It was nice to see things not based off the movies too. Like
Mhm.
it was, anybody probably a little bit younger than us would be confused by the way the characters look and stuff.
Right,
but
especially
I
because they
think
look so similar to the movies. But once you're in it, at least for me,
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the same for you guys. Where after like a couple hours, I was like, oh yeah, this is completely different Star Lord. But at first, you kind of get that, like with Avengers, where you're like, this is like knockoff MCU. What's going on? But after a
Yeah.
couple hours, because I think the writing is so good, they are just their own characters, and you don't think
Yeah.
about that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, Guardians is good. It's hard to talk about because it's all story based, but I do like the gameplay. The more I got more abilities with it, because you just control Star-Lord and then you pop abilities off for the other Guardians.
Yep.
Then it starts to get really fun once you unlock some more abilities.
Yeah, it was cool. It was like really cool to watch and see it all. And
Who's your
We'll
favorite
see.
Guardian, Chris, in the game, without spoiling things?
Gamora.
Gamora. Gamora looks fucking
Yep.
badass. I love her outfit in this game.
Yep.
All right, all right. Anything else on
I do
Guardians?
wanna point out, I have a wish I played list as well, because there are games where they've either won Game of the Year for things, or people have said they're their favorite game
Okay.
on the list that I wish I would have gotten to this year. I did a bunch of stuff that came out last year. I guess the year before last year, a bunch of stuff came out that I played. But Guardians of the Galaxy, I heard, was like if you had a co-op game, it was single player.
It does kind of feel like that, yeah.
yeah.
And kind of it's got that Final Fantasy VII-esque,
Yeah.
like in battle decision making kind of system.
Yeah, because you pull up a menu for your other Guardians and then toggle abilities. I actually changed it. You can customize the difficulty a lot. It just slowed down time when you do that, but I just made it so it freezes time when I bring up that tactical Guardians menu, because it made me think of Final Fantasy better, and I was good at that. I have it. I have a disc if you ever want to borrow it when I'm done.
Yeah, I'm actually hoping that game is on Xbox, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I could see that being like a Game Pass game.
I could see it too, especially because it's been on sale a lot recently too, for like $40,
Yep.
35.
But I do appreciate it. I got a lot of stuff to play. That's one of them. That's like in the top
Same.
5.
All right, Teal Ryan the Teal, Ryan. What is your number 3?
Well, first, like, I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but last year the game pool was pretty shallow, in my opinion. So it was like tough to, like,
There weren't as
between
many
try-
like bangers. I don't know.
yeah, like between trying to like justify buying games, like rather than buying everything that looks cool, I tried to narrow it down, and then I was like, man, there's like nothing that I actually want to play.
I had trouble with that too, which I think is why our number ones are what they are. We'll get there.
Yeah. But I think for me, 2 of the games that I did play through and through, like Chris is having trouble, like my 2 and 3 are like neck and neck, but I'm gonna have to put Resident Evil Village at number
Okay.
3.
A lot of people love that game, and I haven't played it.
Yeah, no, like it's incredible. I loved it. I went right from 7 into Village pretty much. Like,
Okay.
and the differences in the games is pretty obvious. Like I liked 7 more just because I liked the horror slasher aspect
The
of it.
7 was more spooky, right? Whereas
Yeah.
8's a little more actiony. Village. They
It's
don't
a
want
little
you to
more
call it 8,
story
but-
driven. Like the lore in it, I think is why a lot of people liked it so much. Is they really
Okay.
told a good story, and kind of changed a few aspects of like the way you fight enemies and the powers that the enemies have. Like it was just really good all around and visually stunning. So
Yeah, that's what I heard. And like the mansions, because there are different mansions, right? And like the different heads are really cool. I remember hearing. Obviously, everyone
Yeah.
knows Lady Dimitrescu or whatever.
Yeah.
But the other ones are cool too. I don't really know the other ones.
Yeah, no, the different areas that you have to go to, like they really did a good job with creating the environment based on who you're fighting and why.
Okay.
Even that was cool. Definitely recommend playing it if anybody gets the chance.
Do you guys have any physical copies of it?
Yes, I do.
Okay, sick. Sometime I will borrow that from you. I
thought
heard it's not that
okay.
long either. Like it's
You
like
do have it.
Yeah, no, yeah, it wasn't crazy long. I think I finished it in just a couple days.
okay.
Like it didn't take long at all.
I'm into that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely worth it.
All right. It's been a while since I've gotten into Resident Evil. I used to be obsessed with the series. It's fallen off in my mind at least, but the games are getting good again, it sounds like. So that's good.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm hoping they make another one, and I kind of want them to continue this story because I think that there's a lot to it. Because they actually continued
Okay.
it from 7.
Because you
which
still
was
play as
a little
Ethan,
weird.
right?
Yeah,
Ethan is the
and
character
like
you're playing as? I heard he sucks, but everything else is great.
He's a little annoying. But what do you
It's not
expect?
funny though.
It's fair. You know, they took his baby. It's understandable.
Yeah, I mean, they for a reason. It's fine.
All right, Ryan the Gray, we're on to you.
I wanted to just say with Village.
We're not on to you.
I just wanted to comment on Village. I think that game I heard is very good, but I think it suffers from being released in the early part of the year where everyone forgets those games.
Yeah,
Think
you forget
that
recency
people-
bias and everything.
Yeah, like it's not included on these things, like Hitman 3, which came out in January.
Mhm.
That looks amazing.
Yeah, I forgot about Hitman 3.
I did forget about it, and then I was like, I know I played games like fully last year. I just couldn't remember what, so I pulled up the list of 2021 games. I was like, oh yeah, that was like right off the bat.
Yeah,
So-
I forget. Yeah, the Besties, a video game podcast I listened to. I think Village might have been their game of the year, which surprised me because they all really loved it. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that even came out.
We'll see if you forgot about my number 2 choice when we get to it.
We'll see. I have a guess, but all right. Ryan the Gray, we haven't heard from you in a while. How's it going?
It's going pretty well. I've actually been doing a lot of indie gaming.
Okay.
So I'm gonna choose 2 for my bottom 3.
Choosing 2. All right.
Yes, I couldn't choose between
You
them.
All right.
rebel.
All right.
Wow.
I put 200 hours into both of these games.
Damn.
Phasmophobia, as you know, we
Yes.
played it a lot.
You've played
It's
it.
such a fun game.
You're the professional. Like, I feel like I can't play that game without you now because I'm a bitch and I like need you there.
It's so fun though.
When you died on Monday, we were lost. Dylan was like, "Do you just want to go? I don't want to be here for 25 minutes while they're both dead because we don't know what to do."
Yeah, and it just keeps getting better. Like they just hired a new developer and an artist, so
Oh shit!
they're releasing a bunch more stuff and bigger and better things.
Nice.
So it's just getting better and better.
It's all been free updates too so far, right? Which is
Yeah.
surprising for how much money.
I think they're gonna try to get it to a stable point and then start releasing it on other platforms too.
That makes sense, yeah, because it's still only on PC, right? And
Yeah.
VR. I don't know if it's on standalone VR, but I know you can
Yeah.
play in VR.
They're actually redoing the VR engine right now, so
Nice.
yeah, so it's gonna be even better. So my second one is a very old game, but I just found it this year.
Okay.
Is Stardew Valley.
Oh shit! I didn't know you've been playing Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
Chris.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking about that the other day because me, Dylan, and Gary streamed it a lot, and I was like, I should play that again because it is really fun, and I haven't put that much time into it.
It's
Yeah, I put a
cool.
lot of time into it.
Have you just
Like,
been
I
doing it
just started.
solo, or have you been doing
Yeah.
like co-op farms and stuff? Okay,
Yeah, just solo. I looked and it's 201 hours exactly.
damn.
That was in like the first 3 or 4 months of the year.
Okay,
So it's just very addicting. And it's only been one playthrough. I think I made it to like year 3 or almost 4.
okay, yeah, and I've only ever played it co-op, so I haven't done just like my own farm and stuff.
Yeah, so if you want to start a co-op,
I mean, I'd be down. I would, like I said, I was thinking about it like last week. Yeah, especially because you two both would know what to do because I don't know
Well,
shit.
I mean, I wasn't even gonna bring this up. I've been playing it again. I put like 50 hours in.
Damn.
There's something about
I-
that game that's amazing. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
it's
could easily
relaxing
jump
to
back
play,
into it
too?
Yeah.
Like,
It
the
makes me
music is so
feel
good.
There's
Yeah.
not a lot of games that like make me. I've almost nostalgia for it, even though it only came out like 6 years ago or something.
But you've been
Yeah.
playing it since it came out, pretty much, right? So going
Yeah,
back
yeah,
to
I
it.
mean, the music is amazing, and the way that it does player progression, like the community center forces you
Mhm.
to. It gets you excited for the next month because you know you can go get this fish that you know you can't get until then.
Yeah, does anybody ever do the fucking Walmart in that game? Like, who would do that?
I think some people do. I see like
I think it was.
Did
like
Chris
only
do that? Did you
3%.
you didn't do the community center, Chris? You just are like, let's give money and that's it? Oh.
I
Well,
actually read an article about it.
one out of
recently,
5.
and only 3% of people have actually completed that, versus the 15% of people who completed
Really?
the community center.
I saw someone on Twitter looking for people who did that because they wanted to write an article, so it was probably that article that you read.
That could be.
Have you played with mods at all? Has anyone done mods on like PC at all?
Unless
Nope.
you had them when we were playing, then no.
No. I think that's helping the game also stay alive. Like stay into the realm of like playability for everybody is partly on like PC. They make modding's A pretty easy, but B you can just there's immersive like farm mod or like this really big one which adds like 20 new characters, thousands of
shit.
voice lines,
Damn.
increases the size of the map. It does all this stuff where every gameplay that you every like route you take on the game can be when you like do that too.
Damn, that's cool. I like how you can tweak a lot of the stuff too, like the time. I remember Dylan tweaking settings as far as like what's worth what, like so it's not too easy or too hard. You can tweak the difficulty a lot, it sounds like.
Yeah.
He released a trailer for his new game, which is still years out. Did you guys see that at all? Like the Chocolate Factory style game? Looks very similar art style to Stardew Valley, but I'm sure that'll be really good when it comes out.
Right. He seems to be a perfectionist with his games.
Right. Well, and now
Like,
he can
the
take
whole
all the time he
story and
needs.
flow.
Yeah. It's still crazy that he does all of it himself. I know he has help on this new one, but like the music, the art, the combat, like the writing, like it's insane.
And just how good it is, like
Right.
overall as a game.
Mm-hmm. I've never played it on console. Have you guys played it on like Switch or PlayStation at all? How is it on
played
That's how I
there?
play it.
Okay. Is it still
It's
pretty
good.
good? Is the inventory system annoying? That's what I would worry about.
Yes and no.
Okay.
It's a little bit easier, I think, but I just play it with my controller, so I don't play it on the actual console.
Okay. Yeah, and I've only ever done mouse and keyboard where you can drag and go everywhere, so I didn't know if it would be annoying. But I mean, I play Diablo on console, and that's probably even more annoying. All right, so I guess we're back to me. My number 2 this year, it was between this and my number 1, but my hours are more in my number 1. So my number 2 is Returnal, which is a game that did come out last year, a PS5 exclusive made by Housemarque. I think I'm the only one here that's played it. It's a roguelike, but it's like a 3D third-person shooter roguelike. It's very fun. You're on this alien world. You play as Celine, this like middle-aged mom who's badass, and the aliens are very... what's the way to put it? They're like tentacly and creepy, so it's kind of spooky. But the game is very fun. It's also very hard. It's not to the level of like a Bloodborne or Dark Souls hard, but I did hit a wall for a while before the third boss, where I just kept dying, and it resets your progress every time you die. You do get some permanent upgrades, but you mostly reset, and the world is randomly created room-wise. But once I beat that third boss, and you unlock, I think it's like the Electropian driver weapon, I literally beat the third boss and then finished the game and beat like the last bosses and like played through the rest of it in like an hour and a half, because that gun is so good, and I like got better at everything else too. Oh, it's so fun. The story is also told really cool, because the story is pretty light, but it's very ominous, and you also have these house scenes, so every once in a while you'll enter a room and your old house from Earth is there, and you go into like first-person settings and explore and kind of see story beats from Celine's past to try and figure out what the fuck's going on and why you're in this time loop. I won't get into spoilers or anything, but it's very cool the way they do the storytelling, and it's really fun. Talking about it makes me want to go back and play it. But I don't want to get my shit kicked in, and there's too much other shit to play, so probably not. Any of you have interests in Returnal at all? I know those hard games aren't really your guys' speed. None of you have ever really played Bloodborne or Dark Souls or like Sekiro or anything like that, right?
No, not really, but
No.
I know Chris started Returnal recently, and I
Okay.
was intrigued, and I will probably pick it up at some point.
It's very
Just-
cool. I have it. I can lend
Yeah.
it to you too. Like if you
Yeah,
guys want to play it at the
Well,
same
we
time.
have the physical copy too.
Okay.
yeah, we know we
there
got
you
it. So, yeah, so I'm interested. I mean, it looks cool, but like you said, like I got another list of games that I think are going to take priority. So.
I hit a point where I almost took a break in that game. I was playing that, and then I think like Phoenix Rising at the same time, because I'm like, I need something that I can progress in while I have failed runs and feel like I've gotten nowhere in this game. So I was switching back and forth, and I almost got to a point where I'm like, I can't anymore. I'm playing this game so much and getting nowhere, which that's one of my biggest frustrations in video games sometimes, which is why I don't like stealth games, because if I get caught and have to replay sections over and over and over again, I get pissed off because I feel like I'm wasting time. But then I broke through that wall and then just destroyed everything, and it was great.
Yeah, I wanted to say that another thing is that, like, on top of how many bad games there were this year, there's a lot of divisive games where there were a
Yeah.
lot of, like, you either love it or you hate it, or, I mean, you can be meh, but, like, it's not really agreed on.
Mhm.
And that was one of them I've seen, where some people, especially if they played before they patched in saves,
Which they only
will,
did like a month ago, right? It
yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
that long ago, and this game came out in April, I think.
yeah, I know that was like a very divisive title, and there are some I guarantee you are on like the list for everyone in here, like from here on out. But like, that one was. I remember just reading about how like either people like maybe they expected something different, maybe it not to be as
Yeah,
as it is,
maybe
but
not as
also the
punishing.
save it. Yeah, I don't. I think that was maybe a bad decision, especially since they patched in saves now.
The save shit was also hard. Yeah, if you don't know, you couldn't
You
save the
didn't,
game.
and
If
if you
you
couldn't rest your console,
Yeah,
I mean,
or if you didn't turn off automatic updates and you put your console in rest mode and they pushed a returnal update, it closed the game and then you'd have to
yeah,
start your run over. And a good run is between like 1 and 2 hours.
yeah.
So if you don't have long periods of time, that was also one of the reasons I almost bounced off it too. And yeah, they just added something to fix that like a month ago. So the game pretty much passed its new release window by months and months before they fixed that issue.
Yeah, I still think they'll catch people because when you're looking for like PS5 exclusive games, there's
It's
not all that much
it's
out
one
there.
of what, three PlayStation
Yeah,
5 only exclusives. It's like that, Ratchet and Clank, and like Demon Souls. I think that's
yeah, I
it.
think that's it. Right? Yeah,
So yeah, that's true. They'll definitely pull people that way. And PlayStation bought Housemarque after that, so clearly it was successful enough to them. All right, Dylan, what's your number two?
um, uh, why did I write special? I can't even read my own writing anymore. Anyway, Stardew Valley A was very pick, but that's not my number two. But I considered putting it because I spent like 50 hours in the past 2 weeks. I'm like, man, this is like number one. The game to try. I wanted to keep trying to get people to play it. I got like a friend hooked into it, just but my number two is Yakuza Like a Dragon. That didn't come out last year, but it did. It came out like at the halfway through 2020 ish.
It was around
Um,
the new console launch, right?
yeah, or yeah, a little bit later. Anyway, so a lot of people got to it in 2021, and I love the Yakuza series. I'm not like I don't really care what the gameplay is like, but I love the Yakuza series for the world and everything they kind of try to do to have this weird dichotomy of. Well, I'll explain. If no one's ever played the Yakuza games, they have a bunch of versions that were out on like PS2, PS3, and then they've created in recent years a Yakuza 0, which really took off,
Mm.
which were like kind of got a lot of Western people into the game, and then you had like Yakuza Kiwami 1 and 2, which are remakes of 1 and 2, and they basically did some remastering, and then they came up with their most recent game, Yakuza Like a Dragon, which for the first time changes the combat style. The originals were all kind of like beat 'em ups, but just with you controlling like one person like behind. It's kind of an interesting combat system, but it's a lot of like button mashing and like skill based combat.
It's
I
fun
guess.
to watch you play those games. I miss watching you play Yakuza.
Yeah, they're very fun, very engaging. But the selling point of the games have never been really the gameplay, in my opinion. It's always been the story and the world. They go about recreating areas in Japan, and kind of they aren't named technically. They all have different names, but areas in Japan that are kind of like realistic. If you were to walk around and see kind of like a similar setup, but they make really great world, and the story is insane because the normal stories are pretty normal. They're Yakuza is like the mafia of Japan, so
Mhm.
it's kind of about them. Regardless of the ones, this specific one, Yakuza Like a Dragon, is about character Ichiban Kasuga, and
Is that who you play
he
as?
yeah, that's who
Okay.
you play as, and he is a loyal to the end, like main character who's kind of stupid, but just extremely loyal, and he gets betrayed. Then, long story short, essentially has to fight his way back up from nothing to get back into good graces and all the stuff that he wants to do. And the way Yakuza's work is the main story is pretty serious and not a lot of stupid comedy, and then all the side stories and all the characters, it's extremely satirical and stupid on purpose. They've always had a ton of content with like men in diapers and things like that. Like there's a lot.
It's always wild when I watch you play that, but then they seem to balance it. Like the main story is very tonally different, but it works.
It'll go from like you fighting someone and using a chicken who's the manager of your business, and using his special ability where he like shoots eggs out, like, and hurts your opponents in this combat style, and switches into like immediately like, oh, we got to get to this area because this person's gonna get killed. Like very serious kind of storyline. It's worth noting. So the big thing about Yakuza Like a Dragon that's different is it isn't that beat 'em up style anymore, that like live action fighting. It is now a turn-based game, and they do. If you could say anything, the weakest part of the game is the combat, and it's still fun and engaging. Like I found myself going to the combat arenas and stuff, and like ranking up.
Do you like it? Do you like it better, or is it just different enough?
I think it's different in a good way.
Okay.
It's different in a way where I don't think I could sit there and constantly play the same style. They've released
it's like 7
games
before, or 11.
It's more than
Jesus.
that, 'cause if you think like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
6,
0,
and then the Judgment games, I guess, are also.
Yeah, I'm including those. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then the basically they're all the same in some way. But this one does like an turn-based RPG. It's real time, so everyone's like moving around. So sometimes you can kind of get it where if your character walks by a bicycle, you tell them to go do an attack, they'll go pick up the bicycle with an extra damage thing and throw it at someone.
So you can still get the kind of ridiculous stuff in this, even though it's more turn-based?
It's got the same kind of ridiculous moves, except they're individual abilities for people.
Okay, cool.
It can get kind of tough sometimes, but they're, I found it to just be like a JRPG that does a different way of kind of looking at JRPGs. It can get a little plain where it does the JRPG problem where you know what's good and you become stuck on those moves.
Okay.
So all of a sudden you're using one of the abilities late game is an orbital laser cannon that I call in because of like my business is so successful. And the orbital laser cannon comes down and just like gives everyone electricity damage. Just it can kill anyone under a certain level instantly. It's like,
shit. Okay.
It just equalizes right away.
Yeah.
But I have to just say, because I've been rambling about this game, not enough people have played it and given it a try. The comedy is great. Don't play with English dubs. English dubs aren't that great. Yakuza does a great job at having the Japanese voice actors are really good.
So you just play with subtitles on then, right?
Yeah. And they've had people like Mark Hamill has voiced one of their characters in the past.
Shit.
It's like I would never heard it because I don't play with dubs.
Yeah.
I watch.
Is that?
Okay.
Do you think because I've never played any, I can just hop into Like a Dragon?
Yeah, it's a whole different story. Every other, I should say, Kiru is the character of all the other ones, except for Judgment, which is a whole different series with a different guy. But Yakuza has Ichiban Kasuga, and it's the first time you're introduced to him.
Okay.
And it's his personal quest to become a hero, which is like his thing. He talks about, really interestingly, Dragon Quest all the time.
Oh shit!
He wants
all
to
right.
be a hero like in Dragon Quest, so he'll tell other people.
Like the hero.
Yeah, like the hero in Dragon Quest. That's what he wants to be. It's really,
that's awesome.
It's a little meta in that way.
I like that though.
But his character is so endearing because they never change who he is. There's not one moment where in that game Kasuga doesn't play like you think. He is so loyal that it pisses you off because he's obviously going to get betrayed. And everyone else can see it. But he's loyal to the point where all the way to the end of the game, his loyalty is what like saves him. And
Shit. All right.
it made me cry at the end because it definitely is like emotional. That's well, half of these games made me cry, so it's okay. But the game is so good. Like I can't push people. I can't push enough people to play it. It's only maybe 40 hours if you wanted to do the whole.
Okay, that's not
story.
bad. I thought it was longer.
I put 80 into it to do a bunch of side stuff too, but the side stuff helps your character get better and get more abilities and stuff like that. If you wanted to complete that game, it would be like 300 hours because of the way they do the leveling system. So you can't really get an easy platinum or anything.
Okay.
I just found it to be so fun. Everyone's got different jobs. You're like, that's how you get different people to have different abilities. It's like everyone's doing a job because they're trying to make enough money because they're all poor. So it's just fun.
It's one that I'll have to watch for a sale if I have a gap. Maybe in the summer. I don't know what's coming out. Spring's pretty busy, like once Horizon comes out for me. But all right, Chris, what is your number 2 game of the year for yourself?
I have to say Story of Seasons. It's kind of like Stardew Valley.
Yeah, that's like the Harvest Moon people make those games, right?
Yep. So basically, it's the same thing. Basically, and I love it.
Which one is it? Because there's a lot of different Story of Seasons games, right?
Yep. So this one that I'm talking about, I think it's called Pioneer of Owltown. Yep.
Okay. Is it on? Are you playing on like PlayStation?
No, it's on Switch.
Let's see. I just want to look at it.
It's cool. I think that's the one we picked up at the same time.
I remember you talking to me about it when you both got it. I only ever played a Story of Seasons game on like the 3DS because I was like, I didn't know there was a divide between Harvest Moon and Story of Seasons. Like they couldn't get the name, but they didn't want. I don't know. Basically, whoever owns Harvest Moon, Switch developers, and the main people who like invented it basically started doing Story of Seasons games.
Yep.
It looks cool. Is it just straight farming and like social like Harvest Moon, or is there also more Stardew Valley-ish stuff like the mining and the dungeon combat here and there?
Yep, you can do mining in it. There's not really combat in it per se. But no, it's basically on the edge of Stardew Valley.
Okay. It looks cool. I haven't played one of these games in forever. It would be one of those that would be hard, like, do I play this or do I play Stardew Valley? Because I don't know if I can dedicate myself to multiple farming games.
I can.
Which one do you like more? Or are they different enough that you can't choose?
I have to say Stardew Valley.
Okay, alright. Just trying to get an idea. Yeah, what is it on? Yeah, it's just on Switch and then PC. It looks like. Nice. Can you get married? Did you get married in that game?
Yes.
Why do you look ashamed about it?
Because there's like, if you marry this one person, there's like at the end there's like a side like mission kind of in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I married the right person, I didn't. So I was pissed.
You know, it happens to some people.
Because you have to marry you have to marry a female. And I'm going, I don't want to do that.
You're like, I don't know how this works.
I'm not heterosexual.
So you chose a lady and it was the wrong lady?
Yes.
Oh no.
But
that sucks.
Like, it does. You can get divorced. Oh,
Okay, so then can you marry the right one to get the mission?
Well, yeah, until you get their friendship up.
Okay. Hey, relationships are a lot of work.
I know.
All right. Well, did anyone else play that game? Anyone need to chime in on some Story of Seasons?
But I added it to my wish list. I'd be interested in playing that in the future.
It's fun.
I like the Harvest Moon game, but I didn't know there was a split in terms of their.
Yeah, it happened a while ago. I want to say like Wii-ish era is when that happened.
Because different games. Oh, Is there still?
Yeah, because Harvest Moon games still come out. They're apparently bad.
See, that's,
Well-
that's why I've never gotten into any of them, because all the good ones seem to be on DS or before.
Yeah, like I played the shit out of Harvest Moon 64 back in the day. That game is like expensive as fuck if you want to play it now, which sucks. But I would probably just play Story of Seasons.
There's a Story of Seasons for the PlayStation now too, supposedly.
Really? And
Yeah.
they release, it seems like one comes out like every year or so. So it wouldn't surprise me if like there's one that's only on Switch and then they kind of jump around. I'm gonna add this one to my
Yeah.
Steam wish list though. That's a good idea. Since
Yeah, I just added it to my wish list too.
Nice.
Seasons.
Oh, I see. There's Friends
Oh yeah, Friends of Mineral Town. There's a lot of
Mhm.
different ones.
at the same time, basically, as the other.
Yeah, but the Harvest Moon games come out inconsistently now, but they do still come out. I don't know when the last one came out, probably a couple years ago. All right, Ryan, teal sweatshirt Ryan.
What's up?
What is
All
your
right.
number 2?
Outriders.
Okay, Outriders is like top 10-ish for me. I'm surprised that's on your list. It's
Well-
really fun.
I mean, yeah, like it's super fun. I think it definitely left the
It's one I forgot about.
yeah, like I wanted more. Like they really, it
Mhm.
should have been. I wish it was like not what it was. Like everything about it, but open world RPG rather than this kind of more
The, like,
linear,
mission structure.
repetitive. Yeah, like all the abilities were cool. Everything about it is really fucking cool.
It's
but
very fun to just play. Like, even
Yeah.
though the story's a little light, I did still like it. But just
Yeah.
the moment-to-moment combat is so fun.
I feel like it was popular enough that they'll either keep it going and kind of revamp it, or they'll bring out a second one. In
They
no
announced
time?
some DLC that they're doing.
There is, yeah. I just
and they
saw
did
that.
a big end game update that had some good quality of life changes, I guess. Because
Yeah.
I never did all the Eye of the Storm stuff because it wasn't that fun to do by myself. It's one of
Yeah.
those things where I think I would have stuck to it if like we all would have stuck to playing it. I think I would have
Mm-hmm.
it would have had longer legs. But like once I finished the story, which is pretty beefy and it's just so fun to play, I would have stuck to it longer. But yeah, depending on when the DLC comes out, I might end up hopping back in. Depends on when it comes out though.
Yeah.
You
But yeah,
played-
that's
Trickster was your class, right?
yeah.
The Trickster was cool.
I think just for something that was a little different, a little new, I just really enjoyed it, and it did kind of stick with me throughout the year. As like, I could jump back into it almost even at this point. It would be basically a brand new game, starting
Right.
over and just having fun with it. But
I'd make a new character, I think. Like, I'd make my
Yeah.
own Trickster, because I made whatever the Earth one was, because that's the other one that can also teleport around, like the Trickster, and being able to teleport across the battlefield is really fun.
yeah,
Yeah, that was a game I probably wouldn't have played if you hadn't turned me on to it.
yeah, I remember talking about it, and we just kind of followed it until
And then
it.
there was like a beta or demo or something, and I was like, oh, hell yeah, I'm into this.
Yeah.
And then we played the shit out of it. Yeah,
So-
that's good. I didn't expect that to be on your list. I had picked... My guess was either Far Cry or Pokemon for your number 2.
I had Brilliant Diamond on there. It's been tough to kind of list them off, but I kind of took it off the list because it's Pokemon. I mean, it's a remake.
Yeah.
It wasn't a standalone. It just kind of.
We'll talk more about Pokemon after we're
Yeah.
done with our numbers, because
Yeah.
I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
All right.
I did want to cut in, but I want to say another divisive game, Outriders. That was another one that's on the divisive list where I've seen people really love it or not like
Mhm.
it. I like the idea that it seems like it'd be a cover shooter, and then it turns out like being fast and moving is your best option.
Yeah, it's like you got to be aggressive because that's how you gain health back. That's the whole thing. It's like
Yeah.
go kill shit. That's how you recover health. It's one where
Yeah,
I've
it's a
either
really
heard
interesting system.
people who play it really like it, and then some people are like, that looks stupid or something, and they don't play
Mhm.
it. But if you give it some time,
Also,
everything.
Game of the year if you play it.
not game of the year. It's just good if you play it. Like, people enjoy it. It's just an initial hurdle to playing it, All right. Ryan the Gray. Give us some of your number 2 wisdom. Now, do you have 2 at number 2 as well? Because I'd have to call you out then.
No.
Okay.
That's for
Top
after.
7 games of the year. Is number
Yeah.
It's actually a back 4 Blood.
Okay.
Came out late
Nice.
this year.
Yeah,
this
I
past year.
own that game and I've played it once.
Yep.
I want to play it more, but I still haven't.
It is a huge game, massive story, and they're adding more too. Like, I think they just added a bunch of stuff this past November.
Okay. I saw they had a bigger update recently because it popped up like in my newsfeed on my PlayStation.
And they're revamping a bunch of stuff and rebalancing everything all the time. And I
Nice.
think, I don't remember what company it is, but one of the game studios out of China just bought them.
Yeah,
Last
the one
month.
that owns a fucking shit ton bought Turtle Rock.
Yeah.
I think it's
So
10
hopefully
cent,
it's
yeah.
even gonna.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the one that's been doing it.
So hopefully that's gonna accelerate it even more.
Cool.
Just like the financial part.
Yeah.
And not do too much to the actual gameplay, because I really like it. The card system is good.
It's
got good
fun.
replayability.
Like I played the beta some and that was fun. Like me and you played that a little. And then we played the one mission where we couldn't get in-game chat to work. And I was like, fuck, this is fun, but man, I wish I could call out these unique ridden. They're called ridden,
Yeah.
right? They're not technically zombies.
Yeah, very, very similar to how they built out. What was that?
Left 4
Left 4
Dead,
Dead.
World War
Yeah.
Z.
Very similar to Left 4 Dead, but it's just like a more advanced, better version, I would say.
It seems like there's a little more randomness to it to make the
Mhm.
replayability there, especially with the card system on top of it. From the little
Yeah.
bit I've played, even like I'm sure you've seen it way more than me.
Yeah, and I think that card system just makes it so much more replayable in general.
I think
Like, you can
especially,
do like different builds with the same person.
yeah, like if
Yeah.
if you're
completely
playing
different
with
styles.
similar people a lot, you could almost work together with your decks, which seems like it could be really cool.
Yeah, I like it.
Well, you gotta let me
I
know when you're
agree.
playing because I own it. It's
Yeah,
installed.
same. I played a few hours of it, and you're right. Like it's awesome. I think I got frustrated at one point. There was towards the beginning, and I got stuck in a spot that I don't think I should have gotten stuck in. Like I
No.
fell off the boat. Like I fell off the ferry,
Okay.
Yeah,
but I couldn't get anywhere. Like I couldn't get out where I fell. I was like, "Are you kidding me right now?" Like, but yeah, I still played it. a
This
little bit
wouldn't
after
happen in
that.
Apex Legends, and then you just
Yeah,
bounce.
exactly. On the contrary, it does happen, like getting stuck under staircases.
hmm
I think this is the only game that's been brought up that we've all played, right? Well, I guess Stardew we've all played, but like Chris has played this, Dylan's played it, I've played it,
Hmm.
both Ryans have played it, but never together.
One day
one day.
we'll do it.
I also
It'll
bought
happen.
it for Cody for Christmas, and then he got COVID, so I haven't given it to him yet. He won't watch this,
Aw.
so it won't be spoiled. But Kool-Aid has it too, because he bought it on sale,
Nice.
and then he just plays Diablo 2. So,
Yeah, it's
It
true.
happens.
oh, he's been
I
playing
know.
Overwatch again because he told me to re-download it. So, I don't know.
That's such
If
a
you
cute
started playing it again, you will be reminded why that game.
Yeah, I'm gonna hop in and just be like, oh, I just get to play as Lucio because no one ever plays healer. And
Is he one of the Overwatch people that's pretty outraged at the way Overwatch is, Blizzard and whatnot is
I don't think
not
so.
doing anything for their game? Like people are leaving, not just other games, but they're leaving Overwatch for Apex because like they haven't done anything the way Respawn is taking care of their fan base.
It's because everything is switched to Overwatch 2, and now that keeps
Yeah.
getting delayed, so they're not getting that new content. And also
Yeah.
Activision
Thank
Blizzard.
goodness stream is mature, because man, how the fuck do you get into development hell for a second version of Overwatch? Like,
I don't know.
It's been years that they've
Yeah.
been quote working on this game. It's a massive company. They
Yeah.
can obviously put out other games because they've been putting them out in the meantime.
Yeah.
And they've given up on like working on two, in the sense that they have 600 damage characters. You have like three
God,
tanks, like three.
The
healers,
damage
and
is so
wants
bad.
to play damage.
Mhm.
And they're
Yeah.
limiting it to two. So I
And
Well,
even the ticket system doesn't seem to help that they implemented to try
Yeah.
and fix it,
because
how long the
everyone's
queue
got
times
tickets.
are.
I think
Everyone's got
that's why they
tickets.
play damage.
It's easy to get tickets, yeah.
So you get a lot of games where, like, even if you're like, I can have fun playing whatever else, you get a lot of kids that assume they're 12.
Yeah.
and they
It's a
wanna
rated
play
T
damage,
shooter.
and they're bad.
Yeah.
They're bad at like doing that, and so you lose, and then it's frustrating because like I'm not having that much fun running.
It'd be
around, so it's-
different if you join
Mhm.
games and the random people who fill your team that are the damage ones could actually deal damage, because then you'd win.
Mhm.
And it's frustrating when you can't play damage unless you wait 15 minutes to try and win.
But like I was
Mhm.
saying, he's not one of those people who's frustrated by any of that because he doesn't play enough video games to get mad about video games.
Right, yeah, he's not in it deep enough. He just wants Overwatch 2 to come out. And it's like, Blizzard sucks right now, but I will still buy Diablo 4 when it comes out. I don't know if I'll get Overwatch 2 right away. I probably will.
2025 at this point.
Yeah, 2025.
Right.
Ugh. I know they've said both that and Diablo aren't coming this year, so I haven't confirmed anything
That
else.
blows me away. I
Yeah.
get Diablo. Right?
I get Diablo.
A little time on it hasn't been out. It hasn't been developed that long. But
Right.
man,
How is Overwatch 2 not ready? They showed that game a couple years ago and it looked close.
they're in a point where games that make at the same time are now coming. So that's a problem.
Yeah, it's rough. All right, well, Back for Blood. We need to play that more.
Yes. We will.
My number one game is Marvel's Avengers, which probably surprises none of you. That has been basically the best way I can put it has been like my comfort game to play when I don't know what to play. When I've been like bummed out or whatever, it's like, let's just go beat the shit out of some people as a superhero. And
Fair enough.
it's filled that very well to the point where I've grinded and played multiple heroes, I think like five or six, to the level cap and the power cap, and like the Wakanda DLC came out, which was pretty short, but it was still really fun. The Raid came out, which I haven't played. Spider-Man came out, and yeah, I've played that game a shit ton. I know it's not the best game, but I love it.
I mean, they did a good job with it. Like, yeah, it's not like the best game, but for what it is and what it's meant to be, I think they crushed it.
Yeah,
I really liked it and obviously had fun playing it, but for me, it was too repetitive. I
it
think.
is
Like,
repetitive.
yeah, like I liked it, but it was just too much of the same. And
You
it
play the
didn't-
same missions a lot, like
Yeah.
more so than other games of service, like even in
Yeah.
Destiny.
And like even the scenery like didn't seem different even when you went to a different region. Like it just other than the city.
Yeah,
but, like,
it's like
everything
the
else just
city
seemed very. It was
during the
bland
day
and
or at night, or like snowy area or foresty area. And I guess
Yeah.
there's like a deserty area, but they're all very
Kind of.
similar.
yeah,
the
and it was
strength-
just-
Yeah, the strength is not that, or like the main campaign's fun, but that's like 5 hours.
yeah,
And the story's good there, but like the storytelling in the side missions is fine. Like it suffices.
Yeah.
The strength of that game is like the combat systems and the way the
Yeah.
heroes play. But
which yeah, and that's where like I mean I could easily jump back into it. I mean it's just fun and it definitely sucks you in.
yeah. So I still go. I played some last night because I'm trying to get the challenge card for Spider-Man all the way up to unlock the skins. Same with Kate Bishop, because I grinded her from 0 to like 150 in level max to get an exclusive Hawkeye nameplate that I could only get within like 2 weeks of the show coming out.
Nice.
Which some would say is a waste of time, but it probably
I
was.
mean,
But it was fun.
we do what we gotta do.
Yeah.
Hmm.
If it makes you happy, man.
I've gotten Ryan the Gray to play it like twice now, and he has no idea what's going on because he just hopped into the end game.
Oof, rough.
So yeah.
Just went in to fight some stuff, died a bunch. It was good.
Oh no, we lost Dylan. He was up next. Hello, Dylan. Did he just die? What happened?
Bye, Dylan. Did we offend you?
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll skip over Dylan for now. We'll move on to Chris. Chris, what is your number one?
Okay, so mine is Ratchet and Clank.
Okay, all
Rift
right.
Apart.
That game is great.
Yes, I did play somewhat the first Ratchet and Clank a little bit.
Have you never
and I
played
stopped
Ratchet
playing
and
it.
Clank really before this one?
Yes, I have not.
Okay. That makes sense. then.
And yeah, I thought it was great. Just how they did all the, I guess, riffs and stuff like that. Like where you
Yeah.
jump in.
And
that
you're
was
teleporting to
awesome.
other areas. It's so cool.
Yeah, Yeah, and they did a great job with like getting like you can customize your own skins or your armor per se on
Mhm.
him too. So I like that too. I like anything that you can customize. So
Yeah, the
any
guns
game that you
are
can customize.
the guns are dope, which they always have been in Ratchet games. I liked Rivet a lot. I thought they did her really cool. You play as her and
Yeah.
Ratchet. That was new to the series.
Mm.
Yeah, story's super cool. I've played pretty much every Ratchet and Clank game since like they started on PS2, which is one of the bigger reasons it's not on my list, because it is very much another Ratchet and Clank game. It's still a great game, but it's like I've played it before, but then it's just new guns, new story, and like the games are always really funny. So I did really, really like it, but it was just one of those like, man, I've played so many of these. They haven't changed a lot, but they are still great. Anyone else play Ratchet and Clank? I think Dylan did, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
I
Chris's
watched
number
it.
one.
I watched it be played.
Yeah, so you were there for it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I didn't have to play half the game. Chris played half. I played the other half. It's fine.
So Chris hasn't
Ratchet
played
games
Really good. Really
that
short,
many
though.
Ratchet games. It is shorter, yeah, but
Like it's really short, into the point where if you told me if I paid $70 for that, I would feel a little. That would impact my final decision. That's how short it is for that amount of time. Like I'm normally not impacted by that.
it didn't feel that
Ryan-
short to me. It was like
Ryan
over
would've-
10. Like it was over 10 hours.
Sweatshirt Gray Ryan would not have. Well, I mean that's not for a $70 game. I platinumed it in 15 hours.
Okay.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know. I
That's a
think
little
like
rough.
I think
Not
like
getting that dollar per hour.
I think like the first Last of Us, which is probably you can beat in less than 20 hours, maybe
I
15.
think that's a better game though too.
It is, but I
They're
don't know.
like
I think
completely different games, though. I don't even know if you can compare them in that sense. You're like,
I think
there's-
if it's over 10 hours and I'm like super into it, I think it's worth it. 70 is still high, but
get used to it.
yeah. Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. It's another thing I struggle with buying brand new PS5
Mhm.
games. Because if they are short, I don't know if I want to pay $70 for it. So
Well-
I'll just wait like a year or two and get it for like
Yeah,
$30.
Yeah, PlayStation
People,
games do go
like-
down in price, which is good. Not like Nintendo.
for like Christmas and stuff, people were like, "What do you? Are there any games you want? What do you want?" And I always tell them, gift cards, PlayStation gift cards. Like the
Mhm.
sales come and go so frequently. I was like,
Yeah.
I could easily pay $20 in 3 months for a $70 game, and I
Right.
would much rather just stockpile the gift cards and wait it out.
I've been better at it, but there are still games like, I mean, Horizon will be longer than 10 hours, and it'll be good, and I'll be buying that right away. But like
Yeah.
God of War, I could see being a less than 20-hour experience, and I'll pay $70 for that shit. So
Yeah,
when
that's
Ragnarok
true.
comes out, that's
true.
not one I'm waiting on. So it all depends on the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ratchet and Clank's good though. And Chris bought it basically for all of us because we all played Chris's copy. So
Fair. Fair
I
enough.
traded it for a game that I haven't had back yet.
What?
Wait, Chris still has a game of yours?
No, Chris doesn't.
I
Me and Mass
don't know.
Effect's gonna have to get finished one of these days, right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm not playing it all, so you're good. But
All right,
see.
you have to
we'll
finish.
we'll double back to Dylan because we skipped him because he disappeared. What is
My
your
internet went out this morning.
number one?
My number one of what I've had the most fun playing, even though I haven't played it that much this year, is ESPN NFL 2K5.
The one with
but-
T.O. on the cover?
Yeah,
Oh, it's
that
so
game
good.
is so good. And
Yeah, it
they're
is.
so better than Madden games. And I played it with updated rosters and stuff. On the Xbox. Anyway,
Oh shit!
that isn't really the number one, but that is something I want ESPN NFL 2K.
Can we play that tomorrow? Do you have that set up?
I mean, I could get it set up. It would take me a little bit, but I could.
I mean, you don't have to.
I don't know if I have enough Xbox 360 controllers. Unless you got it.
Oh shit! No, I don't.
Whatever. I think it might be back. Well, I wonder if you could run it on Xbox One.
I don't know.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, my real number one is Psychonauts 2. Psychonauts 2 is amazing. Like, for a game that was It wasn't really in development hell, but it was essentially the problem with it was it got kickstarted for a certain amount. The
Did it?
publisher went
I
bankrupt.
didn't know
I
it got
believe. So I think
kickstarted.
it was like they added in like a couple $1 million or something.
Shit.
But the publisher went out of business in like 2018. So they got purchased by Microsoft. So Double Fine got purchased by Microsoft, the developer of it. And then that gave them enough money to finish this game. And it has not gotten, I think, enough praise for how good it is, purely off of it being honestly a platformer. I think it gets a little bit of that. I think people look generic platformer.
Yeah, if it's like not Mario, it doesn't get talked about.
Yeah, it doesn't have the name of it. And Psychonauts 2, obviously, 1 came out in like 2003, right? It's been a little while between the two games.
I thought 2 would never happen. Like, I thought they'd
Yeah,
never
I
make
was
it.
in the same. I was in the same, especially when I read that the developer, or sorry, the publisher went out of business. I was like, well, that's it. Like, Double Fine's gonna have to stick to doing small things. But it is like it delivers on everything. The controls of it are really good. It's fun to play with like the different combat and lots of like grabbing things with your mind and doing different mind abilities and stuff like that. It's not the key selling point of the game, honestly. If you had to pick one thing out, it'd be like the controls are the weakest point. I'd still say they're very good. But the platforming is really fun. The movement, like once you get good at it, you can go really fast and do different things. But it's really the world, the atmosphere, and the environment and the story. The game deals with a character named Raz, who goes about. He's essentially in the first game. He sneaks into a summer camp, which is a Psychonauts summer camp for like kids who have psychic abilities. And that's back in like 2003. You don't need to play that game to give you a like couple minute update on kind of what happened in that game. And then in this one, it's like a whole new thing because now he's an intern. You have an internship at this company, the Psychonauts, and so you kind of just go through the story, things like that. There's a ton of stuff to collect, which I ended up doing all of it. Platinum the game, or I guess on Xbox, whatever. I got 1,000.
Okay.
There's a ton to collect, but it's very doable, especially like later on you get the ability to like search for stuff individually, so you don't have to like wander around looking for things. But it's the environments. They have a bunch of different minds that you go into because you go in and you repair a person's mind. It's kind of continuation for the story. And by doing that, you're facing whatever mental trauma they had. In some cases, they don't think they're good enough in a certain way, or they've been broken by someone else, or what have you. But they're so people have to look up the game and look up the different worlds you go into. They're all unique. There's a world where you enter this lady and she's like a librarian, and she has a world which is like books and things like that. And so everything, like even the ground, is like a cutout book. Like an open
That's
book,
cool.
like cutout.
Yeah,
and
that sounds really cool.
It's got all this stuff that's like really so creative. It's like there's so much effort put into like touch and polish of these different things. There's a psychedelic world you go to where everything is like flowing flowers and rock music in the background, but it deals with this certain person's mental trauma, which is what the whole game's about, basically. Like the individual characters dealing with that sort of stuff, and you go and you try to help them, and in the process you learn more about yourself and stuff like that. Just from start to finish, that game is A+. I couldn't put it down. It looks amazing, but on top of that, like there's a ton of content and talking to people, and that's partially why I completed the game 100%. Was I just didn't want to leave it. But, I wanted to keep staying there and like find things to do and stuff like that. I just think I can't think of a game I enjoyed more, actually, and honestly, like the last 2 or 3 years than that game.
Cool.
Okay.
It is, if you have a PC, or I think it's on PC too, but on Xbox it is on Game Pass, and it's just it's like a platformer, so it's easy to get into, behind the shoulder kind of platformer, but beyond that, it just does so much to bring you into these different worlds and get you to kind of be like invested into a story, an actual like good story. So
it's one of those where I've heard so many good things about the first one, and I've bought it multiple times and just still haven't sat and played it. So it's like do I play that one or do I play this one and then go back and play the first one?
Yeah, I would. They're different enough. You don't need to play two to play with one. They'll give you an update on kind of what happened, but you won't be really. It's not like one had twists in the story. I guess.
Right. I'd more so be playing it to just see the mines, like in the first one, which I could go back to do. Right.
The first one's it's creative and unique, but it isn't going to look as good. And I don't think.
I know the controls are pretty dated. It seems like it's not as smooth.
You would have a lot more fun, I think, starting with 2. And the mines in that one are more. They're more of the emphasis on going to the subconscious of someone as opposed to the first one. I felt, if I recall, there's definitely is mine stuff, but there's a lot of you're exploring the campgrounds and things like that.
Okay.
And stuff in the campgrounds, which there is in the second one. There's a whole like a wake area that you're exploring, going to these areas and fighting stuff. But then on the other hand, you're dealing with like your other stuff. In like even the character Raz does such a good job as like a kid, just someone who's just trying to like as you get more abilities, you gain up in your internship level. So you like that's kind of like your leveling system is
nice.
The level of intern you are.
That's pretty cool.
It's very good.
Nice. I'll have to keep an eye on it if I want to sub to Game Pass, or I know it's been on sale a couple times on PlayStation 2.
You could, I mean, if you were dedicated to it, I think it was like 35 hours for me to fully do it.
Okay. Yeah, that's not bad. That's doable, and it sounds fun. Like, I know I'd be into it just from the way you talk about it and what it is. Like, I like platformers, and the story sounds cool. Nice. So I was Avengers, Dylan was Psychonauts 2, Chris, Ratchet and Clank. Now we're to Ryan the Teal. What is your number one?
I know this is going to be a huge shock to everyone when I say this. Apex Legends, though, I have to...
Apex Legends, what is that?
What?
It's, yeah, like I've just put a few hours. Just a handful here and there.
I played like 2 matches this year with you, I think.
It counts.
2 or 3. Yeah. It's downloaded again on my PlayStation.
I just like I've played a lot of battle royales. Like I've dabbled in Splitgate and Spellbreak and Hunter's Legends, obviously Call of Duty, Fortnite, Overwatch. I just think Apex has the most story also, as well as the best gameplay. Like I like the kind of abilities and magical weird kind of stuff.
The abilities are cool
shit that you can do, mixed with like the Call of Duty, like the guns with the attachments and the variety. It's fast paced, and I just think it has a better community because I think, like I said earlier, the company Respawn like reacts to things. They're reacting to cheaters. They're reacting to the glitches and the problems, and
they also add content pretty frequently.
Well,
it seems like
so like the lore is there. They have stories that are like they have a whole like literal real life hardcover books of the stories and the lore from the characters and the whole
I didn't know
universe that they're in. There's they're adding it constantly. Like the seasons change, and when the seasons change, there's like 2 or 3 events within the seasons. So I mean, they just have a ton of stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just fucking fun. It's just the characters are awesome. The little quips and one-liners are really fun, and you know, compared to other ones, it's just different enough. And again, like I said, like the company carries their game and they stand behind it, and I think that's why it's so successful right now. A lot of articles I've read recently, like people are leaving other games for Apex because they're tired of the cheaters and the bugs and glitches that don't get fixed, and like the lack of listening to your community. And again, Respawn was like, we hear you and we want to make sure you stay with us. So, you know.
Yeah, I mean, Respawn's good in general, so that doesn't surprise me.
It's a really good game. Like, for the price, like, fantastic. Right. You could probably have over, 1,500 hours in a game you didn't pay for?
Yeah.
Base game.
And, like, that game also, the cosmetics are cool, but it's never... I don't want to say they're never cool enough, but I like the stuff you get just by playing. more than anything I would have spent money on. I think I spent like $20
Right.
once, and I still have like
Yeah.
those coins in my wallet.
Well, I like I'm on the same boat. Like, there's a really cool skin right now for the newest legend in their Dark Depths event. That's freaking badass. But like, you get enough over time. You know, they give you free stuff for completing challenges, which are also, there's daily challenges, weekly challenges, event challenges. So like, you're
Yeah.
constantly getting crafting material and coins, and you don't need to spend money. And there's a fine line, like you said, between want and, you know, what's cool enough. And I think that's just another thing that has grabbed a lot of people, is like, you don't have to pay them.
Yeah.
So-
Also, that's the first game I can think of like that implemented the ping system, which is amazing. Like you don't have to play with headsets to be a coordinated team and shout things out, and it works so well. And other games have used, like Fortnite uses that now. Like Avengers has a ping system. Borderlands 3 had one. Like, it's weird if a shooter comes out now and doesn't have one like that.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. It's cool, and one day I'll have to upload some of the clips I've saved of some of my.
You've sent
my
me some
gameplay.
random Snapchats of you doing crazy shit, and it's
There
wild.
was one last night that I didn't save a video of, but it was intense, and I wiped out a whole squad because I took them by surprise, and they were like scrambling like little rats, and it was hilarious.
That's awesome.
It was really cool.
It's
But
one
yeah,
of those games, every time I hop back in, I'm always like fine at it, but I'm never good enough. And in order to be like good enough again, like I used to be, I'd have to play a lot. And I just don't.
I know someone who you can play with.
That's true. See, but then I'm worried because you're so good. But granted, you win with trash people all the time, so I'll be better than that at least. I
Well,
just
yeah,
don't
I
want us to lose and be like, wow, fucking whenever Brandon's playing, I garbage because of him.
No, that's not me. Like, it's so fast paced that's the point of it, is losing and getting right back in. Like, they have little messages too for gamers, like be nice, like just keep trying, basically, like a lot of little things in your loading screens. And it is like, it's taught me patience, where like, if I drop in and I'm the first squad to die, like, that's cool, I'll be back in 5 seconds. Like, it's
Right, yeah. And it's
so
like, you can win with anyone too, because there's so many different circumstances and there's so many people playing it because it is a free game. Like, not to dunk on Gary a little bit, he'll dunk on himself more, but he's not the best at playing first person shooters, and he knows that. And I've won playing with Gary and random people before, so like,
well, we just call those people the DD, the designated decoy. So
that's true. Yeah, he did lure the like last person out so I could kill him, the one match that I won. But yeah, I haven't played it.
And they
Yeah.
actually introduce good things during each of their new seasons, right? Like, every time I see an article about Apex has a new season, like, this content's coming out.
It's usually like a new champion or a new
yeah,
map,
I know
if
it's
not both.
it's
right?
yeah, it's a new.
You don't
it's
see a lot of games doing that, like with their seasons. It's just
Overwatch.
You start over, and that's
like
it.
Overwatch.
Yeah.
It is. They do like the new legends, and they're really cool. And I'm sure most of you know this, but Apex comes from Titanfall, and
It's in the universe technically, right?
yeah. So they're pulling, I mean, all of it. Like, they're using it to their full advantage, and within the game, like,
But
if you
not
load it
the
up.
Titans. They're not pulling the Titans.
No, not yet. There's some theories floating around, but there's leaks about a new legend in season 12 coming up. But
Even
you're
if
right.
they had
Like,
a mode with Titans, that would be dope. I
Yeah.
love Titanfall.
I think it'll be someone's ultimate or something. Like, I think,
Okay.
but they
Could
add
be.
like new hop ups and attachments to the guns and new guns. And I don't know. There's just a lot to it that changes. Like, the loot pool changes every season. Some of them get locked in care packages, and some you just can't spawn it, or you have to craft some. I
Yeah,
don't
like
know.
the crafting pool changes, and you can only
Yeah,
get those
like
items by
daily
crafting.
and weekly. Also,
Which the crafting
so-
is good. Like, I was worried it would be too overwhelming to like try and craft stuff in these battlefields and get materials,
Yeah.
but it's actually pretty simple.
So yeah, that's probably gonna be my number one for a long time. And
I'm-
they've basically said like they're not gonna fuck up like Blizzard or whatever,
Yeah.
and they're not planning a second one. What's the point?
Right,
If they're
it'll be
carrying
like
it on so
Right.
well.
like other free to play games, but they're doing it right. They're doing
Yeah.
it well. I do want like a PS5 version that's just a little smoother. They still haven't done that.
You know, I know.
They
We
said
don't
they're
talk
working
about
on
that.
it, right?
Yeah,
But-
yeah. We don't talk about that.
Okay, all right. I was gonna say something else about Apex before I moved on, but I forgot. We are gonna. Last year in February is when we got the PlayStation numbers. They email you like your hours played, your top games, and all that sort of shit. We'll have to do an episode about that because I'm excited to see where my Avengers is and where your Apex is.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I don't know. Probably disappointing, but
Like disappointingly low or high?
I think his
disappointingly
Apex
high.
time will be higher than my Avengers time if I had to put money on it.
It was at like 400 hours back in like August or September.
That's your total time though, right? Not just this year.
No, I thought it was just the year. I don't know. I have to go back and look. You can pull it up right on your PlayStation already. And it'll
Yeah,
tell
I
you.
thought that's total time. Though.
Oh man, if it's only 400, then it's gonna be disappointingly low.
All right, Ryan the
We'll
Gray,
see.
you're the last one. What is your number one game?
It is not as exciting, but I really love Monster Hunter Rise this year.
I was hoping you were going to bring up Monster Hunter
Came out in March.
because that's
of
in my top
2021.
10. It just came out on PC. I thought about rebuying
Yeah.
it. I might wait.
It's beautiful on PC.
I will probably wait till the expansion and hope they do a bundle, and then start
Yeah, I
over.
hope so too. Like they're just releasing it. Like I said, it looks absolutely beautiful on PC now.
Yeah,
The gameplay is fun. The grind is fun.
it's so fun. I love Monster Hunter. Was this your first Monster Hunter? Really? I
I
know you
started
played
with
some
World.
right? I couldn't remember if that was before or not.
I didn't get too far in it. I think I just beat the main story in World.
Okay.
Then just did some stuff after, some of the free stuff that you got.
Yeah, not the Iceborne stuff because I didn't do Iceborne stuff either.
Yeah, but it was really easy to get into for a Monster Hunter game, like from what I've heard, and compared to World.
Yeah, like World is even pretty easy. My first Monster Hunter was Monster Hunter 2 on the PSP, and if I didn't have like a friend holding my hand telling me how all these systems and how things worked, I would have bounced because I had no fucking clue, and it doesn't really tell you. But they've simplified a lot of things, but there are still intricacies that are fun. Like they haven't gotten rid of that, which is nice. Yeah, Rise is really fun. I was thinking about it because it just came out on PC. I was like, fuck, do I go play on Switch more, or do I start over on PC? So then I can just play PC, and it's
Right.
easier to stream. If you buy it on PC, let me know.
I probably will do the same once it comes out with the once they come out with the expansion pass. With the
Okay.
expansion pack, I'll probably get it on PC.
I was looking at my Switch captures the other day, and there's the one where either me or the monster launches you off of the mountain while we're fighting it. I don't remember what happened, but it's really funny.
I probably got launched.
And I think I killed it by the time you got back. But I know Chris and Ryan have also played Rise with us a little bit.
Yeah, I liked it. It just didn't like. I mean, I could. It's one that I could jump back into, but it just didn't just suck me in the way I wanted it to. Like, I liked it. You know, I agree with everything, but it just wasn't enough for me.
I think it's one of those where maybe the next one will hook you again then. Because
Yeah.
that's happened with a lot of people I've talked to who get in Monster Hunter and things I've read online. Where it's like, yeah, I've tried it before, and it wasn't until like this entry that I finally hooked and made sense to me.
Yeah, and I'll definitely keep trying them. Like, yeah, as they come out, and I'll try jumping back in, but we'll see.
Yeah, because Chris, you really liked it too, right?
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah, Ryan played it the most for sure. Ryan the Gray.
Yeah,
What do
just
you
love
use?
the movement around.
What do you use for weapon again?
I started off with dual blades and did that for most of the time, and then I switched to hunting horn, and that's just been a blast.
Oh shit! Did I ever play with
Literally.
you when you were using hunting horn?
Probably not.
Okay. I just use hammers all the time. Love hammers.
Yeah, it's just a lot of fun. Just like doing the musical combos and then smashing and boosting everyone around you.
Yeah.
Started
Hell
playing
yeah.
with a lot of random people online too, and it's been good. The
Nice.
community is great.
Okay. Yeah, and I haven't played even since they added like the actual ending, because it kind of ends on a cliffhanger, and then they added a couple more story missions after the game came out to give it like a nice ending. Actually, not that Monster Hunter is really about the story that much, because it's not, but it's. I want it to look like World does, because World looks prettier, whereas Rise was made for the Switch and now was eventually on PC. But they added the wire bug system and the wire bug attacks in Rise, and it's so good, and I don't know if I can go back without that.
Yeah, it was really hard going back to World and trying stuff out because you just didn't have the movement
Yeah,
that you had.
like you don't have the what are the dogs called?
Palamute?
Okay, I was gonna say Palico, but I knew that wasn't right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's good.
Like,
Even though I use the
without
cat.
dog.
Yeah, because if we're in multiplayer, I just use the cat for the buffs.
Yeah, and you can still fly around the map.
Yeah, yep. You can just wire bug really well and like run up walls and shit. But I love the wire bug attacks. Like that's part of my combo loop now. Like I don't know if I can go back without that. I don't know if it's the same with you with the hunting horn combos.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's just crazy. You could zip around this whole thing, this whole monster, and just smash it in the face.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so much fun.
Yeah, and like is the monster mounting still? Do people do that a lot still?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
especially with the more difficult monsters. When you
Yeah.
want to get them together and then smash each other.
Yeah,
Try
it's a
to-
good way to stagger them and
Yeah, knock
do
them
lots
out.
of damage without getting hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot
that's
about
fun.
that until I think I played a random hunt like a month ago, and I was like, oh yeah, you can ride these. That's right, because I knocked one out and I was confused for a second. Yeah, Monster Hunter's fun. Talking about it makes me want to play, but it's like, do I play on Switch? Do I start over? Do I just wait? When's the expansion supposed to come out?
I think at either the end of the year or beginning of next year. I think
Okay,
it's beginning of next year.
was it? Shit, I thought it was this year sometime, but I haven't looked. Yeah, Monster Hunter's really fun. I want to play it. And the Monster Hunter expansions are always huge. Like I know when Iceborne came out for World, it like at least doubled the amount of content in the game. I'm assuming this one will be similar.
Yeah, I'm thinking so too. Just from the trailer that they showed, it looked like a few different worlds that they were adding.
Yeah, I don't love they added a mode in this one, which you don't have to do them. You have to do like one or two for the story. The kind of tower defense modes where you're like protecting the
Yeah.
town, so you're like building some turrets that you can use, but then you go down and fight the monsters sometimes too. I don't love that mode, but you have to do it to do certain weapon upgrades if you want them, so you end up having to do them sometimes.
So that was really confusing at first and extremely difficult by yourself.
Yeah,
Once
it's hard
you
by yourself.
Actually got into it with like either friends or people online. It got a lot more fun.
Okay, I remember when
And
me
you
and
can
you
really
did
grind out
some,
stuff that way.
it was pretty doable most of the time, but I think with 4 it would probably be really smooth.
Yeah, and just getting up on the turrets and just shooting everything.
Hmm.
It's so satisfying.
Yeah, not as fun as going and hunting, but it's worth it for the upgrades, and they're not that long in comparison, so you can just grind some out for the tickets for the upgrades.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's
Monster Hunter's good.
It's a good one for me.
Yeah.
The best, in fact.
So our number ones are, yours was Monster Hunter, Ryan's was Apex, Chris was Ratchet and Clank, Dylan's was Psychonauts 2, and mine was Returnal. So all of those games, except for Apex, came out last year, as far as our number ones go. Or no, fuck, my number one wasn't Returnal, it was Avengers.
Close.
Close.
Close to our game.
Close to most were new games.
Majority.
I wanted to talk about other stuff, but my mom is in the hospital for appendicitis, I just found out. So I actually need to bounce off the show.
Gee,
But I
hopefully
appreciate
everything's all right.
you guys coming. Did anyone need to pimp anything before I stop the recording and the stream? Any Twitters, or I know Dylan streams sometimes on Flancrest, right? Or are you
I
Dylan?
haven't been doing it forever.
Okay. Ryan is Ryan Van S on Twitter? Ryan the Gray?
Yeah.
Other Ryan, are you still Dark Siren 89? Siren with a Y?
Everywhere you
Chris,
can find
Chris
me.
didn't have any socials to pimp last time I hosted with him. So
Nope.
I think it's time both of us start streaming. Like I just got to click a button and start streaming some
you got to.
Apex.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
It works pretty well from the PlayStation. The only thing I don't like is that when you want a camera on, it has to be on your TV, which it covers up part of the game then, which I don't like. I know there's a software website I found, but it's like $7 a month, and you can stream to that and do more overlay stuff on your console. Because the PlayStation 5 is not easy to haul into my office to stream from. So if I'm playing games on that, I'd rather stream from the console. But I haven't tried that yet. I've been meaning to watch some YouTube reviews.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing. I want to see what it's like and how easy it is to just start it
Right.
up.
Yeah. It's easy enough to start up and do. It's just if you want to use a camera, it can be annoying.
Yeah.
But yeah, This has been Game Talk Game of the Year. I will post this to YouTube sometime this week. Probably not today now. Thanks for joining me, everyone. Sorry I got to bounce.
Nah, it's all good.
Definitely.
Thanks for having
Thanks for
us.
Yeah, for
Everybody
sure.
stay warm out there, so, you know.
Yeah, we'll try and do... I want to do one when those PlayStation numbers come out and talk about those and then kind of what we're looking forward to this year. I wanted to do a little bit of that today, but with...
That's a hella long list for me, so probably a good idea to wait.
All right, fair. All right. Well, I'm gonna go. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for watching
Bye.
and chilling.